In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and God saw it was good.
Darwin. And then suddenly the penny dropped. I really got it. This incredibly simple theory really was capable of explaining everything about life, the beauty, the complexity, the diversity. And then I thought, well, if science can explain something so apparently inexplicable as life, who knows what the limits might be on what science could explain more generally, without any recourse to the supernatural.
Okay, what are we going to look at? Romans chapter 1. Now, is Romans chapter 1 part of World Lit? Well, of course it is, okay? I mean, can anybody say it's not part of World Lit? It says, for I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. I hope you're not. I hope you're sharing the gospel. For it's the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith. As it is written, the just shall live by faith. And we do, and so does everybody else. Now God changes his tone. Verse 18 of Romans 1. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men. Now this is a certain kind of men. It says men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. They hold it. They hold it back. They suppress it. They know something about something, but they won't tell you about it. Like a bombardier beetle, for instance. Most people haven't even heard of that. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has showed it unto them. Well, now, what is that? For the invisible things of him, of God, from the creation of the world, are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. So there are people that study what God has made, and because they're ungodly and unrighteous, they won't tell you about it. They suppress the evidence. They hide the truth. It says, even his eternal power and Godhead. You can see things about the Godhead in what God has made. That's the Trinity. So we can defend the Trinity by looking at what God has made. We'll try to do that later. So they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, how? By studying what God had made, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. By the way, that was me more than half my life. I believed something that wasn't true. I wasn't giving God the glory for what he had made. All right? Evolution steals God's glory. It says, I can be here without God. So they became fools, and they changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore, God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God. Truth about what? Truth about what God had made. Truth about the gospel. You see, the gospel becomes much more clear when you understand it is the Creator who is the Redeemer. And so you have to have the creation to understand the gospel. And yet many people say, oh, just believe in Jesus. Well, we have a culture now that doesn't even know anything about Jesus. They don't know the history of the Bible. They don't know about the curse. They don't know about the fall. They don't know these things. And so we have to go back to the beginning. Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So they worship the creature instead of the Creator. Well, could a giraffe evolve? I mean, most people don't even understand why a giraffe doesn't blow its brains out. Now, there's a lady, Mary Tapp, out in West Texas, and she finds these bones out in the pasture, and she will paint these bones to look like animals. I have all kinds of animals. This is a cow's rib, but this is my giraffe. And a bull giraffe, 18 feet tall. All right, so it has to have a powerful pump to pump the blood up the long, skinny neck against gravity so that it can live. The heart can weigh up to 25 pounds. It can be almost 2.5 feet long. Huge, powerful pump. And when that squeezes, it shoots that blood against gravity up that long, skinny neck. Now, the giraffe is going to bend its head down, get a drink of water. Now the big pump is pumping with gravity instead of against gravity, and the pump goes squeeze, and the blood goes zoom, and it hits the giraffe's brain and blows its brains out. And all of a sudden, we have a dead giraffe. Now, we have a problem here. How is it going to evolve something to fix the problem if it just blew its brains out? Because dead animals don't evolve. But of course, it doesn't blow its brains out. Why? Well, because as it goes down, the Creator God built little valves into the artery in the neck, and they close. But the last pulse of blood is beyond that last valve, and it's under enough pressure to burst the little arterioles in the brain, but it doesn't go into the brain. The last pump goes like whoop underneath the brain into like a sponge. and the sponge gently expands. It hasn't blown his brains out, gets his drink of water. Now it sees a lion coming up fast. Oh, I got to get out of here. That lion wants to eat me. So by the way, how does he know that? I mean, if it's a giraffe, he'll just ignore it. But a lion, I got to get out of here. So he jumps up, he runs about 3 steps, passes out. Not enough oxygen to the brain. So as the lion is eating him, is he there thinking, oh my, I have another problem. I better evolve something here, you see? I pass out when I get up too fast and the lions eat me. Well, of course not. But by the way, it doesn't pass out. Why not? Because as it comes up, the valves open in the artery. The sponge under the brain squeezes that last pump of oxygenated blood up into the brain, and he does just fine. Only God could do that.